That's it. I'd like to call the Township of Lopatcong regular meeting to order for September 4th, 2019. I would ask that everyone bow their head for a moment of silence, keeping in mind the people in the Bahamas and also Florida, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Gazette and the express times and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilman Valcaro, Councilman Polito.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here.
Mayor Menducci.
Here. Do we have any public comment on agenda items only? Yes, sir.
What's on the agenda or what?
If you have a comment on anything that's on that agenda, yes.
No,
No?
something didn't make it.
Oh, okay.
There'll be another time at the end.
All right, under old business, number one is minutes of the executive and regular sessions for August 7th, 2019. If everybody's seen those. Anybody have any questions, comments? Hearing none, I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Number two is ordinance number 19-13, second reading and public hearing to fix salaries, retainers, and wage rates of certain employees. Have a motion to open it up to the public?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Folks, questions, comments on number two? Seeing none, motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All right. Need a motion on the ordinance?
Motion.
You have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Number three is ordinance number 19-14, first reading to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 227, stop intersections, relative to the intersection of Plaza Road and James Avenue. Any questions or comments, fellas? Hearing none. Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Menducci.
Yes. Under new business, Plaza Road, Plaza Place, road conditions out there. I know Joe's been out there, I've been out there. Paul, you want to enlighten us a little bit on that whole mess out
Well,
there?
per the council's request, a few months ago, I actually looked at that whole neighborhood, Plaza Road, Plaza Place, James Avenue, and Albert Avenue, and I issued a report with my findings of my study. And I also included some cost estimates in there for different improvement programs. To reiterate what I indicated at the last meeting is that Plaza Place is in very poor condition and should be reconstructed by the municipality. I also feel the same regarding Plaza Road, the portion that's in the older neighborhood. I felt, and I indicated this in my report, that James Avenue and Albert Avenue were in satisfactory condition and could be milled and paved, in my opinion. So I provided some costs to the municipality. One was to reconstruct Plaza Place as well as the portion of Plaza Road in the older neighborhood, and milling and resurfacing James Avenue and Albert Avenue. The second was, if money was an issue, not reconstructing Plaza Road, but milling and resurfacing it, but still reconstructing Plaza Place. As part of the Plaza Place work, no matter what the option is, we will be installing, as part of that reconstruction, drainage improvements, because we have a very extensive area of ponding on Plaza Place, and it's only going to get corrected by the construction of some catch basins and some storm sewer piping. So the council has the information from me right now to consider when you start putting a capital improvement program together for fiscal year 2020 at this point for road work.
Yeah, well, I took a ride out there and it was pretty dry. There's still standing water all over Plaza Place, terrible condition.
Yeah.
I think we review a report and we see how the money goes and we'll program it in the capital improvements.
Okay. Anybody else on that? It is definitely a mess out there, but Paul, I think you had given us a budgetary figure about 450,000?
Yes. That would be for the two roads being reconstructed and the milling and resurfacing of the other two roads.
And what if we just milled and resurfaced the old portion of Plaza Road? What do
I
we
believe
say?
the figure dropped about $100,000.
Okay.
It's pretty significant because the reconstruction of Plaza Road was going to involve recurbing that whole area
Yeah.
in addition to redoing the pavement.
100,000, that works. All right, number 2, under new business, resolution number 19-256, establish pay rates for police department employees. Is that in regards to the settlement with the contract? Okay. Do you have a motion?
Make the motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Nanducci?
Yes. Number 3 is a resolution to amend financial agreement with I-78 Logistics Park, Lopatcong Urban Renewal LLC.
So that is just, we were contacted by Bridge, who is the redeveloper, and there was an oversight in the agreement. We agreed that this was how we all understood it to be, so they just wanted to make one amendment, two paragraphs, one sentence really, and a couple of words. So I reviewed it with Rich Leonard, who's handling your redevelopment. We both agreed that this was what we had intended when they drafted. It was really just a drafting error on their part. So in order to put it forward, we just ask that you do a resolution, so if anyone wonders later how this change came about, it's memorialized.
Okay. Need a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Nanducci?
One that's not on your sheets, folks, is 19-15, and that is to amend, it's an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 115, Fees, Article 6, Payment by Credit Card of the Code of the Township of Lopatcong to the fee for credit card payments. Do you want to kind of explain that a little bit?
So, before, if you came and paid with a credit card, the town collected a percentage, which it would then pay to the credit card company. But now, the credit card company charges you directly. So now what it says is you get charged what your credit card company charges you. So the town's not collecting any, because before there was a lot of, this is much better this way, because if we didn't collect it, and then we get charged it anyway from the credit card company, or it got collected and it didn't get sent to the right place. So this is how most of the companies are going. This ordinance is from when we first started doing the credit cards, and that's how they required you to do it. So this was every credit, we had to list how, the percentage that each credit card company charges. Now it just says, check with your credit card company, you'll be charged by them. But since we're not charging any fees, we don't have to put in the exact fees. That's the change.
And I just want to add one other thing. It's cheaper for the resident as well. Instead of paying 3%, you'll pay 2.35%. And sometimes when we collected the 3%, it didn't cover all the fees depending on what credit card they used. So this year so far, we've paid out $3,300 in fees. Now, we do collect the 3%, but it doesn't necessarily cover all the fees that we're incurring. And if we didn't have any credit cards particular month, we're still getting charged.
Essentially spending money for nothing.
So that's going to nullify that.
Very good. Thank you. Need a motion?
Motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Nanducci?
Yes. The consent agenda, is there anything that anybody wants to remove from the consent agenda? Items 1 through 12? Hearing none, do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Nanducci?
Yes. Mr. Polito,
Thank you.
council reports?
The townwide yard sale is the September 14th, week from this Saturday. Looks like we're getting some good responses, good participation. LAA, they would like a letter from us advising them of the alternatives to the pool dances that we discussed for that,
Okay.
for the money
I
situation.
believe we all agreed on number 2. painting of number 2? The firehouse?
I think they weren't sure what firehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Well, it would be number 2 because we only have number 1.
Yeah.
So, all right, can we get a letter off then, Beth?
Sure.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Mr. Wright?
The only thing I have, a couple residents from Fox Farm Road called me within the last week. With winter approaching, wondering if anything will be done with that freezing of the road around the curve that we went out and looked at last year.
Yeah.
I know it's a major job, but I don't have any answer for them yet.
And I don't think we're gonna have an answer for him this winter until we get to that road. That and also Laws Hollow Road, those are atrocious. They're both a mess. Paul, any suggestions on that one?
Well, as
I mean,
you
you've been out there
recall, in the end of July of 2018, we had the beginning of a very extensive rainy period in New Jersey, which extended really until the end of June. We had probably double the amount of rain that we normally have during that given period. And so the soil was very saturated, and we had a lot of water weeping and seeping out of the soil all over the county, whether it was in Lopatcong Township, Alamucci, Hackettstown. It didn't really matter. There's been a significant drying over the last couple months. We haven't had as much rain. I know we've had some large thunderstorms, but we've had a relatively long period of sunny and hot weather. And September's generally drier, so I'm hoping that the soil dries out and we won't have all these seeps and weeps like we had last year that were running even during the winter and freezing once the temperature got below 32 degrees. So I think it's a look and see at this point. What we had last winter may not be what happens this winter. We really have to see.
I can speak to the fact that we had 12 inches of rain from August 1st last year till August 15th.
Yeah.
Only because trying to get a football field ready was kind of a mess. But yeah, so.
In Warren County, a lot of people don't realize this, but between, I think it was August 1st of last year, August 1st of last year and February 1st of this year, ordinarily is about 21 inches of rain. It was 47 inches of rain countywide on average. So it was more than double. That's why the conditions were so wet.
That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Pryor?
I'll just mention we had a very successful community day. I guess it was 2 weeks ago. We opened at about 2 o'clock with free rides and other attractions for kids. We had music throughout the day. In the evening, we had a really good Billy Joel tribute band. A lot of food vendors, and right after the band finished, we had a pretty extensive fireworks show. Paid for by donations. I don't like burning taxpayers' money. That was completely funded by donations. I'd like to thank the rec committee. It's chaired by Lori Chesla, and somebody may help me. I always call her Robin Wodzitz?
Wodzitz, yep.
Matt Herzer, Sarah Lutz, and Kelly LaFord. So they work very hard at this. There's a lot of vendors to arrange, and there's always some last minute stuff that you have to make adjustments to, and they always do a good job. This was a great job last week, so I'd like to thank them.
Not to mention our road personnel that were there all day too, but they don't volunteer, so anyway. That's it?
That's it.
Okay. The only thing I have tonight is that we have a need to hire some additional help in the tax collector's office, and we'd like to extend an offer to an individual. So, we need a motion for that, I guess.
I would do the motion just to be the person and the salary discussed in executive, and then if the person accepts the offer, then we'll have a formal resolution with the salary and the name of the person. But if they don't accept,
Based on Katrina's recommendation, have a motion?
Make the motion.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Polito?
Abstain.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Lukic?
Yes. Paul, you're on.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things I want to update the council and the public on. At the last meeting on August 7th, we had approved the final payment for Baltimore Street. Subsequent to the meeting, I did contact the Department of Transportation and asked them to conduct a final inspection since the work was done. They did so. The only comment that they had was that several of the stop signs at the South First Street intersection were too low. I coordinated with Brian, and Brian and his forces corrected that situation. And once that was done, I did file the paperwork to close out the project with the department. Hopefully, they accept that paperwork and process our $45,000 final reimbursement. We'll know in the next few weeks on that. Any questions on that? On Red School Lane, three things. The bid documents for all the sanitary sewer and storm sewer repairs was advertised and is out to bid. The bids will be received and opened on the 12th next week. So I'll have information for you thereafter on the award of a contract. Regarding the roadway improvements, including the striping, that's been submitted to the Department of Transportation. Will have to be reviewed and approved by the department, and once that happens, I'll present a resolution for Tilcon and Denville lines for approval and authorization to do that work. Regarding the work itself, and this is the third item, I know we've been discussing having that work done this year in 2019, and we've been saying that for quite some time. I am concerned at this point due to the busyness of Tilcon about the ability to get them in here and do the work, so I just wanted to let you know that. We also have quite a few repairs under this one contract to the sanitary sewer and storm sewer work, so again, the goal is to get it done, but if something were to happen here with the weather, with Tilcon, whatever, it may get pushed off till April of 2020 at this point. So I'll keep the council closely advised at this point, but we are going to try to get this work done. That's the goal.
My stand tonight, I'd rather not if we don't have to, but at the sake of doing a good job, if we need to push it off till
Right.
April, so be it. It's not like it's not going to get done, it's just going to be, we're just going to put that road to another winter.
Right. As was indicated previously, the flashing school speed limit sign project has been completed, and the units on Strikers Road as well as on County Route 646 are done and in operation at this point. I do not have any invoicing for that from that contractor right now, so I have nothing really to report on that, so that will be dealt with at the October 2nd meeting. The county did have a few comments regarding the work that was done on County Route 646, because that was under their jurisdiction, and the contractor reported to me today that those punch list items have been addressed. I believe Brian also and his staff also addressed a tree branch issue, which was caused by the county moving the unit at the last minute prior to construction to a different location and right where that tree was. So anyway, I think Brian's removed that branch, so it is more visible than it was the day it was put in place. So
That branch has been removed, thank you, because when I went by there and saw those things up, the branches were still there. I'm like, you can't really even see the sign, so.
yeah. And just so you know, the location that was on the construction plan and went to bid was worked out with the county staff, but inexplicably, the day that we met with the county to have a field pre-construction meeting with them, another staff member of theirs decided to move it 40 feet to the east, and that's what it put it in close proximity to the evergreen tree that we had to trim the branch on. So anyway, it's all good. I do need to follow up with the county, because my understanding is now that the work is done, and once the county accepts it, they'll actually have the freeholders adopt a resolution which will fully implement the new school zone that's there and the speed limit lowering. I know it's signed that way, but I think the freeholders actually have to do something formally for the record, so I'll be following up on that. And then lastly, just the Sally Port here for the municipal building, those plans and bid documents are substantially complete at this point. There was a meeting last week with Beth and Jason. We went over some of the aspects of the design and answered questions. So I'll probably be seeking your authorization to advertise that for bid at the October 2nd meeting. That's my anticipation.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
I have a quick question, Paul.
Go ahead.
Do you have any kind of update on bridges improvements on 22, schedule-wise, or anything like that?
No schedule-wise, but I know they've advanced the project. They have the curbing in along the area of widening. They've installed some curbing, specifically curbing associated with median islands within their own site on Rand Boulevard. So the DOT work is advancing. They haven't started.
Yeah, once upon a time, I had heard the end of the year, but I have no idea if that's still a feasible schedule.
That's still
No,
on hold.
the bridge was trying very hard at the July 17th meeting at the DOT offices to allow for some barrier curbing to be installed to segregate the work area from the travel lanes. They felt that that would be more productive and make for a safer work environment, but my understanding is the DOT reviewers did not approve that, so they're just following the plan that was part of the overall plan set, which is going to take longer to implement. And also the DOT took a long time to actually issue the permits. We had draft permits going back to December, and it took them 6 or 7 months to actually issue the permits and have this pre-construction meeting. So we hope it all gets done, but you know, if there's an early winter, it may not get done. So we'll see. It's a look and see situation.
Thank you.
Chief, anything other than your report to us here?
No, Mayor, I have nothing else, unless you have questions.
I don't have any questions. Gentlemen, any questions?
I have just a question for the chief. The Sally Port, are there interlocks on the doors or anything like that? Just curious how it's going to work. Is it all manual locks or yeah?
Right now, the way we have things set up is a magnetic lock, so it's secure, and then
You operate it from inside? Or-
both ways. So our facility is secure downstairs, so you can only leave with a key,
Yeah.
you know, unless there's a fire emergency.
Anything else, Joe?
No, that's it.
Need a motion to approve department reports?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor? Any of the bills? Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Again, there's a small JMT bill on there. I'll recuse myself from that one.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Carter?
Yes.
Yes. Folks, questions, comments? Now's your time. Brian? Oh, I'm sorry. Let this gentleman go first, Brian. Please. All right, go ahead, sir. Yes.
I'm not familiar with the process, but
Okay.
my name is Frank Victor, and I live in Lopat Township, and I'm just curious as to when I might be able to get on the resolution for my taxes.
I recognize your last name. Danielle emailed me this morning, and I reached out to the auditor, and he said he was working on it. So I will put you at the top of the list, and we will, for next meeting, we'll try to have that resolved.
All right.
I don't know, because I haven't been reviewing it, I don't know if there's information we need or anything, but I will make sure that I work with the auditor to make
Okay,
sure.
I have given Danielle the entire file, but I can go back and,
No, I think she gave it to the auditor. That's why I don't have it.
but it
we'll-
was a mess, and we reconstructed it.
I appreciate your efforts, thank you for that.
All right,
And
and-
I actually called him this morning, and he said, I was hoping to hear from him before I left today, and I didn't hear from him, but I will
Yeah,
make sure.
I
I'm gonna write
appreciate
it
it.
down, so we don't.
Thank you for your
Yeah.
patience.
Thank you.
Situation none of us wanted, but we'll get through it.
I know, and there's a lot more still waiting.
Yeah, I guess. Brian?
Yeah, just for Paul. Paul's wondering about that handicapped area. Parking. I got a painter on for line striping on standby, so I forgot what's going on that. Down in Delaware Park.
You're talking about 17 Park Square?
Yeah.
We can't put the stall on Park Square because there's no property frontage to put it there. And I think it would be very difficult to install it in the alley. The alley is very narrow, and I think the park, there's a lot of physical features there, and there's a lack of right-of-way there to be able to put it in that location. So I really don't have a solution at this point for
Okay, so at
for
this point,
that.
I can go ahead and move forward and, you know what I mean, on the everything else. I had a whole bunch of handicapped areas, a whole bunch of
You just don't do that.
things that are just,
For it.
leave it go for this point.
I think putting the handicap stall in front of the adjacent neighbor's property is not in compliance with the
I'm
statute.
totally
so-
with you, I just gotta hear
Yeah.
it from you guys
And I
before I
got a
move
call from
forward.
that neighbor.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be.
No. Okay.
so, yeah, move forward with everything else at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Barry Dampier, I was here last month about the chickens. I don't know if you recall when I presented my case on the
Yes.
chickens. I just wanted to follow up. I had a phone call with Mr. Rossi, the zoning officer.
Yes.
And he advised me that he would abate any actions until the council worked on a resolution with that. So I just wanted to check in, follow up on that, and just make sure we were still...
Let me back up.
Sure.
I was gonna ask you, what neighborhood do you live in?
I live in Brakely Park, the old section right by the school. I'm 3 houses from the middle school. Yeah.
Only because when we were talking about where, we were thinking more globally about chickens in general in the town.
Right,
and I was
right,
trying to figure out who has them where and how. But
Sure.
For your issue, I've reached out to Joe, and I'm trying to understand what section of the ordinance he wrote your violation on and talk to him about it. So you're still abated, don't worry about it
Okay.
until you hear from me or Joe, you're okay.
Okay.
And so it may all go away. I
Okay.
just need to, I tried to reach out to Joe today. And
Sure.
I know he went home sick yesterday, and so.
Yeah, I just wanted to check in and follow up to make sure that
Yeah. No,
it
you're
was
still-
looked into
you're
and
still
then,
okay.
Everybody showed up and
Right, yeah. You don't want your chickens. to be
evicted the
right?
chickens. I'm dealing with an upset 3-year-old, so.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to check in. I want to thank the council's time. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, thanks for coming out.